guys, thanks for tuning in to this today. In this video, we're going to be going over how to raise and or lower a 69 VW Squareback. It uses the IRS suspension in the back, so this will work for any late model VW that uses the IRS suspension, whether it be a Type 3, Beetle, Bus, any of them, they all use the same type of suspension, so the process is basically the same, so this will work for any of those. In this particular one, we're going to be re-indexing it for a lift because I have my Squareback lowered way too low right now, and it basically can't even get out of the driveway. It doesn't have bump stops, and it just sits on the frame and can't go anywhere. So we're going to be lifting it up so it has a little bit better drivability, but you're going to see how it's done, and it's a pretty easy process. Okay, so we're re-indexing the rear suspension on the Squareback, mostly because it's riding on the bump stops and it is just too low. Can't get in and out of my driveway even. So we're going to lift it up just a little, and then we'll refill the air shocks I have just to give it a little more height. I just hit these bolts with some PB Blaster, going to let them soak for a few minutes, and hopefully they come off nice and easy. So this is Adam, my brother, and he is the ultimate VW mechanic. He knows everything about VWs, so we're going to get this done today. Alright, so basically what we're doing here in the process is we just removed the bolts, as you see behind Adam's arm there. We just removed the bolts from the torsion plate, alright, so we could loosen it from the trailing arms and the hub. So that frees this up, and then we're going to pull off the torsion cap right here, so that way we can get to it, because we're going to pull this out from the splines and then re-index it so there's more torsion on the springs. Yeah, the rubber. Always have the rubber.
And then what we're going to do is pull this back. We're going to make sure that this clears the arm. So we got to move the trailing arm so we can get the torsion arm out. So right now Christian is taking off the upper shock bolt so we can see if we can get that trailing arm down far enough to get that torsion arm off.
Okay, so even with the shock mount removed, we still can't get it to drop down far enough to get past that plate. So it looks like we will be removing the half shaft.
With an 8mm triple square.
Yeah, that 8mm triple square. Let's do it. Alright, so we finally got the connection with the plate free, so now we're trying to pop the plate out from the splines. There we go. And that's how you do it. Now we just got to figure out how much we want to re-index it by.
Preload on both sides. We pull the torsion arm back and out of the teeth of the torsion housing, and then we're sliding it back in. And when we're looking at this, the remark, in order to line it up with the other side, we're just going to note that this degree mark says 12 degrees. We're going to try this first, and if we don't like it, we can always come again and adjust it later.
Yeah, so basically what this is you can slide around and adjust it, mark it. We just marked it to the 4 degrees in the other direction that was on the other side that we haven't messed with yet, and then we're just comparing it to that.
Yeah. Well, we can take this and we can just move it over to the 12 degrees right there, so now we know. But that's actually going to be 12 degrees the other way, so we're just going to move it 12 degrees to the other side.
Yep.
So when we're on the other side, we remember where we're at.
Alright, time for a new idea. After struggling for quite some time trying to get that back on, we decided to buy some longer bolts, and then we're going to jack the plates up into place and then try to bolt it in with the longer bolts to tighten it up. We'll see how that goes. Alright, our idea to use the longer bolts to seat it in after we jacked it up seems to be working. Problem solved. So once we get seated in far enough, we'll just pull out these longer bolts and put in the stock bolts, and it should be good to go. A note to anyone that's trying to do this: make sure your outer splines do not pop out when you're tightening it back down. We made that dumb mistake. Alright, we just finished reattaching the torsion plate. We're not going to attach the shocks or the axle yet. We're just going to leave it set up like this so we can test the ride height when we get the other side done. Alright, finally got the height all adjusted to where we want it. Now we're just getting it back together, get the wheels back on, and we should be good to go. Just got to reattach the shock and the hub, and we're good. That think it's just the exact same thing on the other side, which is what I thought, which is why I wasn't going to film this side, because it was just showing you the same thing twice. Don't assume your torsion bars are going to sit exactly the same, because we used our angle finder and we set the angle to the exact same angle as the other side, and this side sits almost an inch higher. So we have to lower it to a different angle. So beware of that if you guys are doing this on your own. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with how this came out. As you guys can see, it's got kind of like a nice raked look to it now, with the back end sitting up a little higher. Still looks nice and lowered, still got a pretty sweet look to it, but mostly it's functional now. We took it around, test drove it. Drives nicely, doesn't rub and hit on anything anymore, but it's still got that nice custom look. So thanks for watching. If you guys liked what you saw, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe, and we will see you on the next one.